Greetings, everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel, or that is. I'm so pleased to welcome Melissa Brace back to the show. This has become our usual Thursday evening hangout, if you will. It's morning here in Adelaide, but it's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's exciting to be here. Melissa, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Doing really well. Really exciting. I'm excited to be here today.
Awesome. Yeah, this has become my highlight for the week. So Melissa will be a regular here on Thursdays at 5:55 p.m. PST, or I guess it's PT as they're calling it now after this last change of time, if you will. So yeah, so welcome everybody, whoever's in the chat. Thank you for being here. We are so blessed to have you with us today. We're going to be talking about some exciting cosmic events, shall we say, and interdimensional conversations that we will delve into. But most exciting is the live psychic readings that Melissa has taken on to provide to our chat members. So I have an ask for whoever's in the chat today and is wanting to ask those questions of Melissa to please be as specific as you can so that your reading can be accurate. So as much information as you can give us, if you want to give us a name, if that's possible, your sexual orientation, be specific about your questions, whether it's, asking about yourself, a loved one, or, if you want to hear from your guides or someone that's passed on. Melissa is even talking to spirit animals and animals as pets that have moved on as well. So yeah, she's a beautiful, beautiful energy, and she's got a wide variety of services that she can provide to you. So please check Melissa out on her website. It's melissabrace.com, details of which will also be provided in the description. And yeah, so welcome to the show, Melissa, once again. Is there anything you want to say before we get started, in addition to what I've just said in terms of reading and just engaging with the audience?
Mm, I'm excited. We're going cosmic today.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
As we
I
do,
can
as we
feel
do.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a beautiful energy, right? But like when two or more gather, like Yeshua says, it's like these sparkling energies happen. Like I can already feel the energy crackling in my field, right? So it's really beautiful. So yeah, what's happening in your neck of the woods? You're coming to me from Sedona, and I'm coming in live from Adelaide. So, like I said, the last time we are straddling two great continents and meeting somewhere in the middle. So, what's happening in your neck of the woods?
Oh, it's been amazing the last few weeks here in Sedona, Arizona. Um, I've been doing lots of grid work and kind of looking in the mirror at myself, my self work, self care, and it's been kind of wild and exciting to remember. So I've caught myself kind of remembering and everything in the atmosphere being it's a little bit warmer and a little bit sunnier and spring breaks going on. It just feels like the energies are in motion toward helping us wake up some more. And certainly that is how I'm perceiving it for myself. It's just really great over here.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I'm sensing that too, but at the same time, I'm also sensing a lot of very dense energy here in Australia. And so I've been clearing a lot of that energy from the field, working on my family as well, and just clearing all of that dense energy because I'm sensing that it's a very old trauma that needs to be lifted. And so I'm feeling that, those layers being lifted and lifted and lifted with all of the grid work that I've been doing. So, for me, whenever I go out or travel or, just go on a drive as well, it's like engaging with those energies and releasing whatever it is that I see. So it's like whatever little bit you can contribute to that energy, it's really beautiful. So yeah, I think that's what we decided to talk about today, talk about these very dark programs, if you will. So we'll dip our toe into that matrix, if you will, and just talk a little bit about how we have, as a culture, as a civilization, as humanity, been deceived into thinking about, well, we don't necessarily all know what's going on, right? And so how we have been deceived into these programs that have been laid upon us, if you will. So, there are many terms for it: the matrix, the underworld, the deception. I don't know what else there is to call them, but I call them the Draco Lords.
Yeah.
So, there's many terms. There's the satanic circles, the ritual abuse. There's all of these different things. We encounter them in different ways and means in which we encounter our lives or move through our lives. And so, yeah, any feedback in terms of that subject matter and what
hmm
your experience or exposure has been to this matrix, if you will?
Yeah, off and on in my life, it's been quite extreme. And there have been several key points in my life where I realized, oh my goodness, I'm learning this, the like, oof, hard stuff to be able to continue to be kind of multidimensional being and learn and teach and grow in those ways. And I have also been feeling it quite a bit. There's been a little bit of extra melancholy or heaviness in the air lately. And I think a lot of people, at least that I've spoken to, not like I speak to 8 billion people, but have been experiencing some one big chunk that happens sometimes, which is kind of going back into loops or overlays, which it just feels like, okay, this is all that we can do. This is it. So we kind of dim a little bit and
Mm-hmm.
try not to look. Um, but on the other hand, I really think it's the opposite. I think that we are illuminating some really deep things. So from the time I was born to now, off and on, I will accidentally see some of that darker energy and how it works and how it's almost like the machine has worked
Mm-hmm.
in different aspects. And I think we came here to unplug it
Mm-hmm.
and build community and a safe place for our children, our friends, our family, our loved ones for the many millennia ahead in this new era. So it's kind of basic, but yeah, that heavy, dense energy. And I've been catching myself in those loops of lack or can I do this or am I okay? Here and there. And I know other people around me, like friends, have mentioned that too. And I'm like, I don't know that all of that is from us. So the powers that were, or the machine, the
Mm-hmm.
inverted systems, are kind of poking at us a little bit more as
Yeah,
we open our eyes and see what we can do to
yeah,
uplift that frequency.
absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with everything that you just said. I actually delved a lot deeper into it during the writing of my first book. And as many of you that have been following my path know that I've talked about this extensively on this channel, all that is, and also through my book. The first book and the second book as well. The second is more of a transmission directly from Yeshua ben Joseph, otherwise known as Jesus. But the first book came through in a way that took us back, if you will, and led us down a path from the perspective not only of the creator and how things came to be. So it's like a creation story, but it sort of lays the path out from that beginning, if you will, from the beginning of man up to where we are now. And so it weaves all of those things into how the dark energies or the Draco collective, if you will, moved from their plane of existence and rampaged this path of destruction and chaos, if you will, across the many dimensions or the universes, if you will. And they finally landed on Earth because Earth was meant to be a seven-dimensional school
Yep.
for beings like us to come here and to learn what it is like to be in the physical, right? And so they destroyed that existence or that experience, if you will, for that soul to come here and to have that experience, multiple souls that came here to have that experience. And so we have been cheated in a way from, having that experience as a soul, as a collective. And so as that story unraveled and I came to understand what has truly taken place with these overlords or these lords, as you would like to call them, they are vibrating at a very low dimension within their own body, within their own frequency. And so they vibrate between the lower third to the higher fourth dimension. And so within that bandwidth of frequency, they exist in a very aggressive mode, if you will. And so they know nothing else but to be aggressive, but to be harmful, but to be rude, to be, to be all of those very negative energies or emotions, right? And so they rampaged this earth plane and brought about a system and a hierarchy that they could live with. And so in a sense, humanity became their subjects. And so they created this world that suited them, but made it look like we were living in a world that was suitable for us. But they were behind the scenes. They were hiding behind this hierarchy, if you will. And so when you think about the 13 families that we now know as the ruling families, they are essentially the front for these beings that are ruling from the back. You know what I mean? Behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And so, and then there's many reasons for it, because first of all, they're hideous to look at. And so if you look at them in real life, they look like, how do I say this? Lizards walking on 2 feet, right? With very scaly appearance. And the reason why we cannot see that is because they phase in and out of these dimensions. Like, they have that ability. They are advanced beings, but they are in that lower vibrational energy. And they have, by choice, severed their connection to the creator because they think they are superior beings. And so they've gone down that path of negativity. So if you look at the polarity of a soul, it's like they have chosen from that 0 point energy field to go down the negative path and explore that energy within that negative path, within that distortion, if you will. And so many of them are in a way tired, and they want to come back perhaps to where they started to go down that path. Some of them want to go back and, evolve as pure beings, as light beings. And so there's a mixed bag of energies right now that are existing within our experience in this reality of beings that are wanting to choose many different things. Some are wanting to go back to their home. Some are, like I said, wanting to explore what it is to evolve out of that situation. So that has been my learning experience through the writing of the book. And I found that all of these layers have been unfolding within our reality as well, as as the light anchors in our field. And I think we talked about this the last time in the photon belt. So by default, Earth is traveling galactically through this energy field known as the photon belt. And so in a way, that's helping us as humanity, as Gaia, as the Earth, to correct all of these wrongs that have been done to us on many different levels. And this is a huge, huge sort of endeavor, because many star nations have come together as alliances, as councils, to help us with this very large mission. So there are many iterations to this. And so my book sort of weaves in some of this information and brings us into this present day existence of what it is we're going through. And so in a way, 2020 was a good landmark for us. As you know, COVID took place, but it was also a year where the creator issued a decree to these beings to leave the earth plane and to go back to wherever they came from and make that choice. So these beings, like I said, they're given a choice. They can either go back to where they made that choice to step away from their evolutionary path, or they can continue to be the way they are, but they will have a very difficult life, and they can continue doing that on their own planet. So whether or not they're being dispersed from this plane of existence. And the third option is that they go back to space dust. So they become nothing really, right? So that was very interesting for me, because at that time, around 2020, I was going through all of these grid work missions, if you will. And it was very, very dense for me, because I was dealing directly with transmission or transmuting these energies, if you will. I was getting help from the light, and I was clearing all of these energies within my field, within, wherever I lived geographically. And so I would go driving around and clearing the field and trying to help with these clearings. So, and now as we progress, it's like more and more of these layers are being peeled back. Like, we have the Epstein file disclosure now. So, we are being exposed to all of the true underbelly, if you will, of how this hierarchy works and how they've built the systems to work for them. And so it's a very difficult situation we are in, because we have essentially, had the world pulled over our eyes for, centuries now, and we've inherited that system, if you will, that they built, where they made us think that everything was fine, but in the background, everything was not so fine. And so those that could see, those that could understand, were in true alignment with their higher self, with the creator, were able to find out or understand what was actually happening. And the Mayans were one of them, right? So there have been prophecies about this time, and we are living it right now. Anyway, I'll stop talking because I can go on and on. But what are your thoughts on that?
I agree with everything you just said, and the many layers and the words, the systems that we've all learned. I remember saying many times, like, this is not normal. And as a person who has experienced massive ritual abuse in the past many, many years, like almost 15 years, I got to work with my, actually started before that, uh, clergy and different people, my soul tribe, and my ritual abuse counselor for many years, who is also energy work, a multidimensional person. And we would do the same thing. We would just do clearing, cleansing, and realigning and balancing in source, God, source creator, the divine universe. And it was, yeah, it's been a long, strange trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really liking that we are, even though it's very hard, it's very challenging for each person, as these energies and these recognitions and remembrances come in different ways in our lives, and make us go, whoa, what were we thinking? How can this be? It feels like that we are all moving forward, and that light is streaming in, and the true separation of that excess darkness that kind of took over, and whatever we call them, the demons, the Dracos, the darkness, in many civilizations are being aligned. So being in that belt also has memory, pieces of the memory of much of the history. So bringing it back into, like, I don't know, better word than zero point or balance,
Mm-hmm.
helps us illuminate each piece and recognize. And again, we came here to build a beautiful community and come back into that 7D space where we belong, and where we were created to be. So it's happening.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the vision, right? Because many of us are seeing it in different iterations and what is to come. And so, yeah. So in a way, we are in the cleaning stage, if you will, but also anchoring that higher energy and that higher light, and bringing forth those visions, improving on what it is that we are able to create now within our own mind, within our own body, and being sovereign about it, coming from that heart center, if you will, from that heart chakra, rather than having that suppressed energy and saying, okay, this is the way you should do things, but coming from that true creator energy, coming from that connection, if you will, to the creator, that purity, that very fragile energy that's so pure. And so creating from that perspective, and that's what we're meant to do, living within that energy, from allowing the creator to visualize these things through our body, through our energy field, and experience this world, if you will, through that. So yeah, exciting times ahead. So yeah, we are in that pocket, if you will, that's healing at the same time, but it's also overcoming those obstacles, if you will, those difficult energies that are confronting us on many levels. So yeah, it's a great time to be alive and to understand what's truly going on, and to take all of this in our stride. 10 years ago, if you had asked me about all of this, I would have laughed at you and said, yeah, sure, why not? You know, I didn't necessarily believe in any of this, you know, but as I experienced it within my own body, within my own reality, you know, it just started to unravel and made a lot of sense, you know, as to what it is we were actually going through and where we were, in terms of our history and our humanity. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and our evolution as such. And part of it is for us to be reconnected. And you kind of mentioned this before with the Draco and the dark beings that we don't normally see. We can't really put a, point at them all the time. All the time. Sometimes we can. Um, and they have a remembrance where our memories were always erased, and
Yeah.
we were disconnected not from our free will, but from just circumstance often enough in different aspects of who we are. And I would see the energy sometimes and go, whoa, in different parts of my life. But I also think that the real humanity, those of us with heart and soul and love,
Mm-hmm.
even if we've, I don't know, had shadow or said a word incorrectly or something, that we are being reconnected and pulled back together in wholeness, as we're going back to the beginning of when we were created as well in some kinds of ways, to bring wholeness to all of our higher selves and what I like to call divine order.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I think this is, even though we've all been through very challenging stuff and we're all worried about whatever's going on, in the big picture and the little picture, our personal lives over and over. I can see some of the people that becoming free in levels that we never thought that they could. That includes myself in the mirror,
Mm-hmm.
and different aspects of the humanity's consciousness, which is different than the dark beings consciousness. They kind of overlaid everything and wanted us to be their slaves, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their puppets, their toys. um, but I'm seeing big layers. And I know the way I say it, sometimes I get a lot of flack about it sometimes, but the way I perceive it, sometimes it comes off in big layers and it looks like giant pieces of saran wrap that's been put over humanity in different
Mm-hmm.
areas in this part of thinking and finances and how we learn and how we love each other and marriage and all these different aspects of life, health. And I see it come out and it's almost like ripping off like age old saran wrap.
Yeah.
And then people can breathe and go, wait a minute, I'm not in the inverted system anymore in this area. And we get to relearn what kind of normal we want
Yeah.
and how we want to build this world again. Because this is going to be tremendous over the next years.
Yeah. No, I love that analogy that you just, painted for us in that picture. It's very, very true. I call it sometimes the frequency fence. You know, when we
Mhm.
do our grid work missions, and you have been on our grid work missions, we walk through these areas that are quite dense, and we release that, if you will, those energies, right? And so, yeah, that's a great analogy with the saran wrap. But when you envision that, can you imagine the people that are seeing this for the first time, right? It's a very scary experience, right? It's almost like you are a baby that's vulnerable, that's been exposed, and you don't know how to live in this world. You have to relearn everything, if you will, how to live in a world that's first of all corrupt, but also find that sovereignty within yourself to be strong enough and know that you're protected and that you're shielded and that you are here for a purpose, you know? So it's that paradox, if you will, in leaving the past behind, in finding that very sweet spot, if you will, of forgiveness for what has happened and what has transpired, and whoever those lords were in charge of us, just letting go of all of that, but finding it within your heart, within yourself, to take that brave step forward and say, okay, this is who I am. This is me as a sovereign being. And this is how I'm going to move forward in strength, in sovereignty, in peace, in harmony, in all those good high vibrational energies, those high frequency energies. So it is a very tricky point within which we are dancing right now. So yeah, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of bravery in order for individuals to step forward and deal with those yucky aspects of themselves, right? Sometimes you might be the one that has been taken into these systems, if you will, and you have a leadership role within that energy, right? So for those beings, I take my hat off to them, for recognizing that they have been a part of that construct, if you will, right? And so
Oh yeah.
finding that forgiveness within their hearts, that strength to say yes and to accept that I have been wrong and that this is the time for me to move on and to turn the page, if you will, right? And accept a new way of life.
Absolutely. I mean, I think all of us have moments of recognition of that. Not that we were part of, like, on purposeful part of that dark system, but that we all believed it, that we went along with it. We went along with it in groups. We went along with it. We didn't know any better. It's all that we were trained to know, to be.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm seeing. That's one of the most joyous parts of my work when I get to work with people. It's always a cleansing and clearing
Yeah,
and a realignment with each person. I know yours is also a realignment with each person's divinity, not me, not my ideas, not my way, not it, but with themselves. And I see people finding freedom in aspects we didn't even know how to look for,
yeah,
and parts of consciousness and parts of the big picture sometimes. And I'm like, whoa,
yeah,
okay, it's real uncomfortable right now. And this is really scary for a minute.
yeah,
Um, and I've also seen, even though I think there are many aspects to this multidimensional stuff, so it's hard to use human words to describe it all,
mm-hmm.
but parts of the AI and the design of those beings, those dark beings, they made it so it would re-up again and re-up again. So it's almost like a computer program.
Yeah,
And we're seeing, like, no, thank you, cancel, delete. And we're learning how to do that right
yeah,
now as well. It's almost like unplug the AI, which would be unseen parts that are running things. Um, and to remember, even though those types of beings have been more awake and more aware than we have been in tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years.
yeah,
And they're pretty smart in some ways, but they are not even close to
yeah,
having the same understanding and stuff. So this separation from our hearts and souls rising up above, it's almost like flying above the all of it. It's really happening. And so there's actually, in truth, overall, no need to fear and no need to fear monger. Like, be quiet, don't be who you came here to be. People tell me that sometimes,
yeah,
and I go, I can't help it. I'm obnoxious, so sometimes I am.
yeah.
And God knows I don't say the right words sometimes, but I gotta be, I'm genuine, authentic.
No,
That's all I am.
we're all learning. Yeah, we're all learning.
And
And
we are.
yeah,
That, I think over and over we've learned, each of us, like, feeling like that brand newborn that we don't have keys
mm-hmm.
to cars. We don't know how to buy our own food yet.
Yeah,
And we're not really sure if we can walk yet.
yeah,
So we've all felt that way over and over in different ways. I think our humanity is doing quite well,
yeah,
actually.
absolutely. No, I totally get it. And I'm a testament to that. I was very much in the matrix, did the whole 9 to 5 sort of thing, and worked with the corporations and seen all of that, and that's why, in a way, perhaps that was my training, to see what's really out there and then to now live on the flip side of that. I just gave up my entire 9 to 5 job, and now I'm doing something completely out of this world that I would never in a million years thought I would be doing. I've written a book, which I never thought I would do. I'm doing energy healing work, which I never thought I would do. I'm speaking to interdimensional beings, which was whoa, never thought I would do. So it's really amazing how things open up when you open your heart to that energy of the creator. It's like the entire Akashic records, all of that opens up, and you tune in, and you have everything at your disposal, really. Anything that you want to know, you can find out, imagine that. And for me, I've been a bookworm all of my life, so it's like wherever I went, I always had a library membership or a library card. And so for me now, it's like I have a library card to the interdimensional library, so imagine the joy in that, right? So yeah.
Well
So it's
said.
really beautiful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And remember on that note for everybody that all of the layers, whatever your belief systems are, it's okay. And those
Absolutely.
systems were inverted, each one of them. So if your culture or background or belief systems were certain things that this person didn't care for, our systems are being cleansed and cleared and realigned in wholeness again, so
Mhm.
that the shadow and the darkness can't be perceived or blamed on the divine. Am I making sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of my
So
main
that's
missions was
fun.
to go in and figure out what it was, that the in a way the operating system of this hierarchy, if you will, right? And I found out through my research that, sorry, there's a flying around here, and I'm trying to shoo it away. But yeah, I found out that there are three legs, if you will, to this management, and one of them was the Vatican. The Vatican, London, and Washington. Those were sort of the three legs of this hierarchy, and that held up this belief system, or um, this management system, if you will. And so the Vatican is, in a way, holding all the secrets of these beings, in a way that's very, very deceptive, because they are the face of Christianity. And if you look at it, Christianity is huge within our reality, within humanity at this day and age, right? And so when you think about the secrets that they've been holding and still hold, um, in terms of all of these families, and the darkness that they have been trying to present to us, that in itself is a huge deception, right? When you think about it, like, leave alone religion, but they know everything that's been going on, and they have been managing it behind the scenes, and they have been funding it behind the scenes, right? If you look at the way the Vatican City itself is built, they are their own management system. So, no laws
Oh,
can
yeah.
touch them, right? So they can pretty much do whatever they want. And then you bring in London, which is like, you throw in the royalty and the false kings of tyranny, like I like to call them. And then you bring in Washington. And, so there's all of these very dense energies that are currently playing out in our reality. Like, you have all of these wars that are now being birthed, they're holding on for dear life, even at this stage, this late stage in the game. They're still
Mhm.
trying to bring forth that power, if you will, that they thought they had, by creating wars and all of these things. But in my understanding, this is just part of that cleansing, if you will. Like I said, the whole Jeffrey Epstein debacle that's been exposed. And in a way, that is the key to exposing all of these atrocities, because as we looked at all of these things, they connect the dots to all of these three legs of that um, establishment, if you will, right? So yeah, we
Absolutely.
just have to keep digging and figuring out for ourselves what exactly has been going on. And the truth will be revealed. Each of us have a key, have a way of correcting these errors, if you will. So this is my plea to anybody that gets this message or is listening in, to find out what part you play in this drama, if you will. What is your role? What is your where is your part of the puzzle? Where do you fit in? What is your life purpose? What is your soul purpose in this larger mission, larger drama, if you will? Because we are definitely heading into the new earth, like I like to call it, right? And so that is the bigger vision, the bigger dreaming of where we want to go, and let all of
Mhm.
this behind.
Yeah. And I'm seeing, sometimes I've perceived it as almost like a tree of life. If this was a tree, there are many aspects and branches and sprouts on the tree, and there are many roots, and it's been around for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so those aspects all have, or pieces, roots and branches and leaves, and the rings within the tree have layers of this. And we're going to cleanse and clear and see. I'm just saying it in a basic way, but each level, and each level is within us as well. So it affects us sometimes more or less, um, and we will be able to see and hold each other's hands and hold each other up, and now be kind of in harmony or in union,
Mm-hmm.
as I like to call it, sacred union. Over all these years, I keep saying sacred union with Source, with the Creator, that's going to lead us out together. And it's almost like some biblical moment of Moses going, okay, when I point with my staff, run, because we're going to be free. We don't know
Yeah.
what that means, but we're going to run.
Yeah.
And it just feels like we're in the, we're getting ready. We put our little tennis shoes on and we're like, we got our backpacks on and we're
Yeah.
running.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I
And
tuned into Yeshua a while back, when I was just, understanding these timelines, if you will, he told me we have a gateway, if you will, a period of time within which we need to get our shit together, so to speak. He didn't use those words, that's my words. But he said we have up to 2060, somewhere in there, 2060, 2065, when we sort of say, okay, this was the cleanup zone, if you will, and then we move into another octave, if you will, of our ascension. So until about 2065, we are in that cleanup mode, that restructuring, recalibrating within that 0 point energy field. So there's going to be a lot of upsets. There's going to be a lot of, shifting, moving, people moving from one country to the other, trying to find their roots, trying to clear up all of that ancestral garbage, if you will, then all kinds of things happening, individually, collectively. So we have to be prepared within this time for a lot of upheaval to take place. And we're already seeing that. So for me, I think the best thing to do is not to engage with all of that drama that's happening. Pray that all of
yeah,
these dark energies just dissolve and transmute to the light. I think that's the best way to basically give these energies their ticket to go home.
yeah. And some of them will beg. Like I was doing grid work not very long ago, and I went to a local person's house, and I was supposed to just clear and cleanse. I've always been really good at this, so people call me for this a lot. Like in the yard, their yard, and shut down something like maybe an extra portal that had
Mm-hmm.
been ripped open, and that happens in our energies too. So this is
Yeah.
very similar to our self healing, our human healing techniques. And so, stop me if I've told you this, but we went across the yard, and I went, hey, 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 there's an energy here. I'd never been in the yard there. And she said, I moved in 13 or 14 years ago, and um, there's just this place right here. No plants will grow and no birds want to sit. And it was nothing. There was nothing there except the fence. And, you could see the neighbor's house over there. And I'm like, whoa, well, we're supposed to clear it. And it started talking to me. I had angels show up all around me. And this energy looked like a pole. I kept calling it a beanstalk.
Hmm.
And I'm like, this is a beanstalk because this is going way interstellar and
Wow.
way into the earth. And it said, I'm real sorry. This is the energy. And I'm like, what? Like, shadow energy is not supposed to talk to you and you're not supposed to interact with it. I'm like, okay. So these guides and angels that I just could see, and it was just powerful. And it said, I am part of the big picture of the matrix energetic system architecture.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here for a very long time, way before houses. So I'm a host or a beanstalk, as I like to call it, all the way to the dark ones in outer space or in the omniverse where they're not supposed to be too. Um, and a connector. And I'm real sorry. I didn't want to be a bad, hard, yucky energy. But today I get to leave because you're going to clear it. And I'm like, cool, okay, I'll take credit for that, thinking it's never, like I'm all powerful of everything. And it said, thank you very much. I'm really, really sorry to the land, to the history, to the human beings, to the animals, to the trees. And I was like, I hear you, man. And it started dissipating. And over the next couple of weeks, because I talked to her later, I said, what do you think? And I got to go back and it's pretty much cleared. But I was shocked when it said, I'm really sorry to all of these levels. I'm just part of the machine.
Mhm.
And I didn't necessarily choose to be here. You guys are going to be free. Keep going.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was powerful and amazing. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Wow, that's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that. It is very true, Melissa, and I'm so glad you brought that up because it is in a very how do I say this? A very tangible way installed into our reality, but we don't necessarily see it, you know? And so these are energy fields that have been planted by these very evolved, very sophisticated beings. And I have to say this because it is true. They outlive us 1 to 7. So for 100 years, they live 700 years, you know? So they can have that continuity, if you will, of bringing in their debauched way of life, if you will, and anchoring it here without us knowing it. Um, and so a lot of it gets lost within our own history, within our own ancestry, but they are able to have that continuation without us knowing about it. Um, I don't know if you're aware of this lady called Ashiana Dean.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
She's written the Voyager books, right? And so she goes into very, very scientific detail about this system, if you will, and how it was built. And so this energy that you just talked about is very much in alignment with what I experienced as well. And it's the Visa system. She calls it the Visa system. So if you want to give it a
Right.
name, it's like a phantom. So if you can imagine our construct, if you will, the 7D construct, like we had in the eons ago, right? When we were functioning as a 7D Earth, that was in a way sucked out of, like the energy was sucked out of it, and a secondary phantom universe was created. So this
Yeah.
Visa system is in a way sucking the energy out of all of this 7D Earth that we had once upon a time. And so we are now in that lower three-dimensional field, if you will. So from 7, we've come down to a three-dimensional energy field because of this phantom world that was created, if you will, for these energies to exist. So you can look at it however you want, whether it's a level up or a level down, but these energies exist. So the way I like to see it is like, Earth, and then you have a phantom Earth, right? And so these energies are being sent to that Earth, if you will, for these beings to exist.
Yeah.
And so your beanstalk is, in a way, one of those pillars that was installed to create this Visa system for them to survive, right? And another important thing that you mentioned in that story is that elixir of forgiveness. It's so important for these beings to be able to understand that they can move on through the energy of forgiveness. And that being did it. So in a way, that soul, if you will, has been saved, has been restored, because it understood that it needed to forgive itself, first of all, and then ask forgiveness from the elemental beings, the animals, the birds, the bees, whatever it
Yep.
affected, in order to live its life in that degraded existence, right? So it's very, very important to bring those aspects in of forgiveness and move on from that. So Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I just love that story. It just brought everything into complete coherence, if you will, about everything that we've been talking about. So thank you for doing that, for sharing that with us.
And it kind of, we can look in the mirror at ourselves. Each one of us probably has some beanstalks, or I've always perceived, just because I'm so visual, like we almost have like some apartment buildings, like from New York City, hanging off
Yeah,
of our back that we didn't know. We didn't
yeah,
actually maybe consent to either, but it's making us heavy. It's making us hurt. It's making us angry. And so those, when we say we're clearing generational lines, or like you said, these different layers of elemental levels, or even galactic, and I know that's not always an easy subject for any of us to quite comprehend, but the galactic levels and everything, there are pieces jamming stuff, and we're just moving stuff out of the way,
mm-hmm.
almost like if there were just some big junky sewer systems right in the middle of our living room,
Yeah,
and we had to walk through it to get to the bedroom, and we're working on it. And like you said, the forgiveness and it's, to me, it's like remembrance, like compassion and remembrance, not blaming each other like you're worse than me or
yeah,
you're darker than I am, but the remembrance that we all have some.
yeah,
And something I do want to mention is when we're talking about the seventh dimension, um, many of us, the light workers, the indigos, the rainbow children, and the crystalline children, the star seeds, um, whatever words we've got, the chosen, the light ones, um, came here with different aspects of them kind of activated extra. You, me, probably everyone that's watching us or going to watch this, and all over the world and all over time and space and history. And that seventh dimension is also, we could call it the seventh heaven.
mm-hmm.
And all of us perhaps have aspects that are very strong in some of those dimensions. And probably a lot of us have a lot of seventh heaven, which would be that seventh dimension, which would be pure harmony healing. It's an angelic
Yeah,
dimension. And if you can, when in doubt, I always say, sometimes I go, I can't feel right today. I'm mad, sad, scared, and are really cranky and not very pleasant, because I know I can get that way. A little strong personality over here. And I'll say, will you please take me to the seventh heaven, God, source creator, because I need some help. And it almost, I can hear just like I feel a breath, and I can feel a little bit of my body disconnecting from that lower energy that I was just scrambling in or
yeah,
running through. And yeah, seventh and ninth, seventh, sixth, and ninth are the ones that are coming in real strong right now, almost like music, like bells. And
mm,
so I just wanted to just mention that, because it's such a beautiful respite, relief, truth, harmony,
yeah,
home.
yeah, yeah.
And it's always available for us, even though we're having to navigate through these challenging times and ick balls.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with you 100%. For me, it's how do I say this? It's like we have fragmented pieces of ourselves, strewn all the way back to perhaps many lifetimes ago. And I think the key to understand is that we are very powerful beings, and we can, during this physical incarnation, fix all of that. Because once we move into that next octave of becoming a light being, it's not so easy to fix what was in the physical. We can fix it, but in a way, it takes longer.
Yeah.
So, this is a great opportunity for us to do that and fix all of those fragmented parts, those traumas, whatever it is we have experienced for many hundreds of years, right? Many lifetimes ago. So, I think this is a great opportunity for us to engage with all of those energies and fix all of that. And so, I work from the 12th dimensional energy field. And so I come in with that higher oversoul aspect of myself, if you will, from the 12th dimension, and in a way align with that 0 point energy field and work through all of those layers. And you're right, you touch the seventh dimension and all of those layers, if you will, and connect back to that 0 point energy field with your soul spark, with your true authentic energy, if you will. So yeah, it's like, whatever you've been saying, it's like check, 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 check. It's so in alignment with everything that I do and I feel and I experience and I teach and I heal with. It's all so beautiful that we are completely aligned with a common message and the way we work together. So thank you for saying that.
Ditto, I'm really grateful for you too.
Shall we shift gears a bit and engage with our beautiful people in the chat?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Thank you everybody for being here. We've got Katrina Boyer 419 from Oklahoma. And we have a question from Katrina. She says, I have a question. I have developed a skin rash that acts like psoriasis. Is it ascension rash or could it be something blocked in a chakra or something else? I don't usually go to doctors. Thank you. Katrina Boyer 419.
Thank you, Katrina. Um, that's a great question. And thank you for mentioning that, because I do think a lot of people are actually experiencing lots of different symptoms, wondering what did they do? Do I need to go, immediately to the doctor, or is this something that's energetic that's coming out of my system, or what is this? And to me, it feels like there's you got pink energy around you, which is really beautiful. That's divine. I feel divine mother energy holding you, unconditional love, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. And the first thing I'm getting is that it's temporary. You also have a grandmother or a mother figure that's saying they promise they'll help you, almost like tune in and know what to do. I feel like that's if you don't prefer to go to the doctor first, and kind of work on things holistically, organically, energetically, they're saying that some of the almost like opening up your energy centers or meridians with different, hand um, mudras, things like that will help you. And this is temporary. So it is part of an ascension symptom. Something's pushing out, is what it feels like. And it might linger a little bit, but there's something like, what is it, like calendula? Or they used to call it bruise juice with the energies. There's a herb. I'm talking about an herb that you might want to put on it, which probably like an ointment or herb or something that's not super triple medical or petroleum, and it will help. And I think you're going to flush your energy system and ask your guides, your higher self, to cleanse and clear that away. And if you need to do it a few times, it's okay. But it doesn't feel like it's innately in your system, like disease or anything like that. And you've got like super motherly, divine, feminine, unconditional love that's going to help you and help take away the discomfort or the appearance or itchy or dry. And they are saying to continue to I'm laughing because I haven't been doing well on this one myself, but continue to be hydrating yourself with the good, clean water if you can. And get this, even a salt bath would help.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Melissa. While you were talking, I was also getting, like you said, calendula, but drink it as a tea. So drink it like you get a calendula tea or chamomile tea as well, chamomile is calming, but it also or even any herbal tea, green tea, flushes the system. So yeah, drink these teas in order to flush the system out. Whatever it is that's sitting in the energy in your physical body will be flushed out with these teas. But I also got that use oils like coconut oil. You can
Castor
use
oil,
castor oil, like those very heavy oils, right? It may not smell as
flaxseed,
good, but use it. But you can also add like frankincense, perhaps. Mix it with the oils. And Mary Magdalene uses frankincense and what's the other one?
myrrh,
Myrrh, but there's also one more. I
rose.
forget it now. It'll come to me. No, not rose. But yeah, just mix these essential oils with the carrier oils like coconut oil, or as Melissa said, castor oil, and just rub it over your body wherever you feel the dryness, and it will help you to release all of those heavy and stuck energies within your physical body. So yeah, that's what I got. So thank you very
Beautiful.
much for your question, Katrina Boya.
Thank you, Katrina.
I think we have a second question from Katrina as well. I'll just deal with that and then we'll come back to the other questions. She says, I have an entity that visits me sometimes. Is it one of my past pets? And who is it?
Like a dog.
Did you have a dog, Katrina? Can you perhaps put that in the chat box? That would really help.
I guess it could be a cat, but yeah, I feel like there's a couple of pets that come visit you. It's almost like you have a really great connection with that, what we call the earth elemental level, who, by the way, also, so that those could be the realms of, um, earth things, the trees, the animals, the fae, the fairies, elven. And as fantastical as that sounds, they were also really annihilated from, again, out of divine order. If this was divine order,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels like
then,
everything was scattered and shredded, right? Yeah, absolutely.
and they were disconnected from us because they used to be our friends, kind of like we knew them all in Middle Earth too. Um, and I feel like that level, including a loved one, for a child of yours, that's a guide, that's a friend, that's close, that is real and that is true. Yes, your baby is visiting as well as some of those elemental levels. And to me, it feels very benevolent, even though again, sometimes we go, whew, something's uncomfortable about these shifts.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel like babies without any,
Any
we don't
clothes on?
know, any clothes on.
Yeah,
We really don't want to take a bath right now,
yeah.
yeah, it's your fur baby. Yes, there's more than one that comes, but there's that one particular one. So you are correct in who you're thinking, and you've got some guides and angels of that realm that love you very much and are almost like kind of line up sometimes to be protective and sometimes a little bit silly and but they hold that energy with you and for you. So yes, yes, and yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, she says either cat or dog.
Both were here today.
Awesome. So Katrina, thank you so much for your questions. We now move on to Lily00012. She says, let's see. I would like to ask for any general guidance about my energy and path, please. I'd love to learn from your insight and visions what is around me. Thank you. Thank you for liking and subscribing, Lily. I appreciate it. She says the galactic wisdom is so great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, there's another follow-up to that. She says, I got eczema suddenly too. LOL, this helps. So we were talking about the psoriasis earlier. Yeah, so
It
thank you for your
might,
question.
yeah, it might not be, it might be happening to more people than we realize,
Mm-hmm.
actually. On that galactic cosmic note, thank you so much, Lily. I am seeing lots of really blue, turquoise blue, a little bit of this color energy around you. And all of us feel that way, like, gosh, why don't I know more? Why am I not? All of us. But I am seeing you be quite connected in pure ways to many levels of your higher self. And you can ask every morning, every night, anytime you have just a thought, for your higher self to come in and pull you into divine order and tell you what you can know. But I am seeing you have galactic things around you. And if this is helpful in your energy, I feel like you're also working on something that was disheveled and you're doing it. You don't have to perceive things the same way I do, or vice versa. But I'm excited for you because I'm seeing something that was disheveled and part of your energy field coming back in, and you've been working on it, like you've been stretching and working on it. And you do have cosmic galactic help that are pure light beings. And I'm picking up on Syrian and Arcturian, actually, who are healers and very wise organizer holders of the light in different ways. Wisdom, truth, the true wisdom. So I feel like you might get to go on a journey and adventure in your next part of your path with just remembering super true wisdom and understanding, as well as like helping nurture others or holding that energy so that it just emanates from you, so that other people heal and feel like themselves, like they can be safe and be themselves. But it's like you get this cool teaching heart. So I feel like there's a capacity for you to have some leadership in helping people heal and bring back those fragmented pieces, this disheveled energy, because you're doing it yourself. You've done it yourself. You're keep continuing. But I see beautiful blues and lots of purples, and so some of your beings, friends, are going to come in as like little balls of purple, that aqua blue, and it's quite beautiful. And so you have a story to tell, some truth to tell, and to teach, and just by being your honest, wondrous, good, beautiful heart self. So that's what I'm seeing. What do you think, Raquel? You picking up anything that
Yeah,
can help?
absolutely. I'm getting that too. Like, it's almost like Lily has stepped into her authenticity and she just has to, in a way, it's like a dress rehearsal. You're just trying on a few things and you have to figure out what fits the best and try to identify where it is you want to be in that comfort zone, in that niche, if you will. So, yeah, like I said earlier, we are all different parts of this great puzzle. So we just have to find that part of us and identify that part of us within our own hearts, within our own being, and be comfortable with it. A lot of us, like we talked about, and Melissa just reminded us about being that baby without any clothes on. We are feeling very vulnerable right now, and everything is sort of new for us, so we have to find that groove, if you will, and try to figure out what is it that we're doing, what is it that we want to share with this world, what is our experience, what are we saying, what are we trying to bring forth, what are we trying to birth. So we have to figure that out, and in doing so we're healing from inside, we're healing from outside. And so that disheveled part that you were talking about is in a way healing that divine energy within our own body, that masculine and feminine side of us. And I do a lot of that healing as well, healing the divine masculine and divine feminine parts of our body. So during my healing session, I go in very deeply into that physical part of our bodies and go through the chakras and heal all of those, like the left side of the body, the right side of the body, and then bring it all back into that 0 point energy field. So if you feel called to do this work with me, please sign up on my website. But yeah, for Lily, I'm just getting that, she just needs to find her own path. She needs to figure out what it is that she needs to be, in a way, in her own skin. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you resonate with? Like the tools, the directions, the words, the vibe the colors that you, because you're going to find it, and it's okay. Later we decide we decide later sometimes, like, oh, okay, well, I did that for a long time, but I don't really like it as much anymore, and that's okay too.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Lily. Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you, Lily.
As a response, she says, wow, yes, I have been waiting. That's amazing. I was totally disheveled by a twin flame experience. Ha ha ha. The human wounds, but now I'm coming back to the true self and healer Arcturian soul. I would like to say, what a fresh air from both of you to hear. Thank you, Lily. Appreciate that. Yeah, I totally see you in this interdimensional energy field, in this energy, in this arena, if you will. So engage with that, Lily. If you have been already engaging, and it looks like you already know some things. So if you've engaged with the Arcturian side, then keep at it, keep going at that energy field. I know from my perspective, I have a guide from Arcturus, and so I'm familiar with that energy, the Arcturian energy, and it's a beautiful ancient energy. It's a teaching energy, and like Melissa said rightly, you are a teacher, so engage with that, see what it brings forth, and try to figure out where it is that you fit and what it is you want to bring to this world. What is your voice? What is your voice trying to say? I hope that helps you. Thank you everybody for your questions. I think that was the end of the questions. If I haven't got any of your questions, please let me know. But I think I've got them all. Thank you everybody for being here. We really, really appreciate your feedback and your engagement. It's truly wonderful to engage it this way, and it's a new experience for me too. So I'm loving this. I really am.
I am too. I really love this.
Sorry. Yeah, it's such a beautiful energy, isn't it, when you get to engage and share on this level that we have been. So Melissa, in closing, I just wanted to bring that aspect, and we have talked a little bit about it, that divine mother energy of healing and forgiveness and harmony and peace and all of that good stuff, that feel good stuff, if you will, that is that divine mother energy, that protective energy, right? And so as a prelude to our gridwork mission that's coming up on March 21st, we'll be diving into this again, into that divine mother energy of healing and forgiveness and harmony and peace, just to bring that soothing energy, if you will, to the world of unrest at the moment. So what's your perspective on that? Is there anything you want to share about that divine mother energy?
I'm feeling it more than ever, that's for sure. More pure, and I think it's purifying through all of us and our world, our experience. To me, it's almost like over the last months, I was feeling the divine mother energy, mother God energy, stand up and almost like hold her arms out. And so I'm almost like invited, asking that to come to each one of us right now. And if it's okay, or if anyone wants it, I'm almost seeing the divine mother in a visual way hold up her arms and have big, big, big pink, white, golden energy blankets to wrap around all of us to keep us safe, and to keep us comfy and keep us nourished and keep us warm. It's almost like big pink rose petals around us. And yes, exactly. And helping us in our systems, whatever they may be, known and unknown, all the systems and things inside of us, the templates and the layers, and our hearts that have been scrunched and crunched with twin flame things and soulmate things and friends, family, whatever, our own selves experience. And I feel that almost like layers. It's almost like she's got kisses and hugs for us. And it's so gentle and so loving that I think, take a deep breath with me, and we'll feel that big blanket of divine mother around us and through us and through our toes and through our hearts and through our mind, body, spirit, souls, and through our world, for our children, for our parents, for our friends and family, and our true divine counterparts.
Beautiful. That became a prayer. It's so awesome. Yeah, that's really, really beautiful. Thank you for doing that. It's just anchoring that beautiful energy in our hearts. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you are a powerful prayer goddess, aren't you? Thank you for that.
Love it.
So everybody, I just wanted to remind you, we are doing a gridwork mission on March the 21st at 2:22 p.m. Pacific time. We would love to have you there. There's no prerequisite. The only prerequisite is to bring yourself and your powerful energy into the field. And Melissa has been on our gridwork missions to, I think you've been for 3 now so far, Melissa. can't remember.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
she's such a powerhouse, you know, during our grid work missions, and I really love her presence. We move through the field with prayer, with intention to clear all of the stuff that we've been talking about today. And so we map out a few locations that are, you know, that are live and that are active, and we go in there as a group energetically and we clear the field, like I said, with prayers, with intention. But it's a very live sort of experience. So, you know, just being within that energy field, if you will, you will experience something truly magical. So I would encourage you to be part of this mission. It's I just put it as a donation of $22 at the minimum, because I spend a lot of time preparing for it and just, you know, getting this work together. So hopefully that's not too much of an ask to be present at that mission. But it's a beautiful experience. I do hope you can join us. Um, Anything you want to say about the grid work mission, Melissa?
I'm so excited. It's one of my favorite parts of, um, I don't know, my calling, my career, and I know it is yours as well. And so I'm just excited for all of us to keep, I always say it this way, but holding hands and holding that light up, that
Yeah,
pure light.
yeah.
I'm honored to walk with all of you, everybody that's going to see this video, and with Raquel. And ready, let's do this.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's like, you know, like we've been talking about, each of us brings something special to the plate. And so, you know, the minute we hold hands, it becomes that much more powerful, that much more enhanced. And so whether we like it or not, we are doing powerful work, you know, and we have seen shifts take place after we have done grid work missions. So we know that things are shifting, things are moving, just based on our prayers, based on our collective intention. So we are in a beautiful time. We're in a very powerful, potent time within our reality. So why not take advantage of that and do something positive for the collective? So with that, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Melissa. It's been as, you know, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful as always. Thank you for your beautiful presence. I look forward to next week. So tune in, everybody, Thursday, same time, 5:55 p.m. PST. Namaste. Thank you for being here.